Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free English ebook before it's gone. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. Welcome to the 2000 Core English Words and Phrases video series. Each lesson will help you learn new words, practice, and review what you've learned. Okay, let's get started. First is cold medicine. Cold medicine. Cold medicine. Cold medicine is a very, very common type of medicine that we use to treat the common cold. So if you have a runny nose or maybe a stuffy nose, a sore throat, a light cough, maybe fever, headache, it's very, very common to find cold medicine at the average drugstore. Here's an example. Did you take some cold medicine? Did you take some cold medicine? Did you take some cold medicine? Footrest. 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 A footrest is a small piece of furniture that we use to rest our feet. So you might have this attached to a chair, or you might have a separate piece of furniture that you can use to rest your legs. Here's an example. I rest my legs on the footrest sitting in front of my chair. I rest my legs on the footrest sitting in front of my chair. I rest my legs on the footrest sitting in front of my chair. Nightstand. 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 A nightstand is a piece of furniture that usually is next to the bed. So the meaning of this is like when you wake up in the night and you need something, like for example, a glass of water, or maybe you use it as a place to put your book before you're reading, we use the nightstand for things like this. Here's an example. I keep a picture of my wife on my nightstand. I keep a picture of my wife on my nightstand. I keep a picture of my wife on my nightstand. Coffee table. Coffee table. Coffee table. A coffee table is often a kind of low, smaller table that's easy to use to rest things like coffee cups and other drinks and maybe books and maybe some papers here and there. So a coffee table is usually a little lower than a dining table. Here's an example. Please keep your feet off the coffee table. Please keep your feet off the coffee table. Please keep your feet off the coffee table. Sofa. 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 A sofa is a soft place to sit. It's usually in the living room of the house. They might be very brightly colored. They might be kind of dark. They can be made from many different materials, but usually a sofa is a soft place to sit, and you can sometimes fit 2, 3, 4, or maybe more people on a sofa. Here's an example. This sofa is very comfortable. This sofa is very comfortable. This sofa is very comfortable. Chair. 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 A chair is a place for one person to sit. A chair has a back on it. So for example, I am now sitting in what's called a stool. There is no chair here. There's no back on this. So this is called a stool, not a chair. So a chair is for one person. Here's an example. It is easier to study when you're sitting in a comfortable chair. It is easier to study when you're sitting in a comfortable chair. It is easier to study when you are sitting in a comfortable chair. Dinner table. Dinner table. Dinner table. A dinner table might also be called a dining table. It's the table that we use when we want to eat a meal. So the height of the dinner table or the dining table is higher than something like a coffee table, and everyone can eat comfortably at this height. Here's an example. We only use our dinner table for formal meals. We only use our dinner table for formal meals. We only use our dinner table for formal meals. Table, table, table. Table is the general use word for a platform where you can rest things. So it could be a tall table or a low table. If the type, like coffee table or dinner table, is not important, and you just want to mention a platform where you can rest things and do activities, you can just say table. Here's an example. We do homework and play games at the kitchen table. We do homework and play games at the kitchen table. We do homework and play games at the kitchen table. Study, study, study. To study means to work on learning new things. So when we study something, we try to memorize that thing, we write that thing down, we try to practice that thing. So to study means to work at learning something new. Here's an example. I study every day at school and for 3 hours each night. I study every day at school and for 3 hours each night. I study every day at school and for 3 hours each night. Basement, basement, basement. A basement is the floor below the ground floor of the house. So the ground floor of the house is the first floor. So that means that anything below that is called the basement. So it might be below the ground even. Here's an example. The young man is playing ping pong in the basement. The young man is playing ping pong in the basement. The young man is playing ping pong in the basement. Let's review. I'm going to describe a word or phrase in English. See if you can remember it. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say the very common type of medicine that we use to treat very common cold symptoms like runny nose, stuffy nose, sore throat, and so on? Cold medicine. Cold medicine. And how to say the small piece of furniture that we can use to rest our legs and feet. Footrest. Footrest. What about the piece of furniture that is usually next to the bed? We might use it to put books or to keep a glass of water. Nightstand. Nightstand. Do you remember how to say the low type of table that we might use to put drinks, books, and papers on? Coffee table. Coffee table. Let's try the word for the piece of furniture that we use that's very soft and easy to sit on. We could have maybe 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, or more on this. Sofa. Sofa. What about the furniture word that means a place for one person to sit that has a back on it? Chair. Chair. Now, let's see if you remember how to say the type of table that we use for dining. Dinner table. Dinner table. Another one. What about the general word that means any kind of platform that we can use for eating, drinking, or doing activities? Table. Table. Do you remember how to say the verb that means to work on learning something, like trying to memorize things, write things down, and so on? Study. Study. And finally, do you remember how to say the floor below the ground floor or the first floor, like in a home? Basement. Basement. Well done. See you next time. Bye.